Ladies and gentlemen, it is the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Welcome to joining us on this edition of the news, live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. In our top stories tonight, suspected Fulani headers continue to plant disorder and chaos in Bombay village, in Acquire subdivision of the Manu division of the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The latest or the most recent attack from this unwanted men left several women wounded and also enormous properties destroyed, with at least 2 persons severely raped by these unidentified individuals. In this edition of the news, we tell you that penal courts of Cameroon continue to hold as part and parcel of its judgment death sentence. The most recent is that of the case of Bebe Matisse. In this edition of the news, we shall be talking to a legal man who goes into the details of the landmark decision that was made yesterday in a court in Yaoundé, with a death sentence by firing squad rendered to Dagobert. For these stories and more will be yours in this edition of the news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And this is the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Equinoxe is live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. With me, I'm Sean Sander. As we told you in our top stories, inhabitants of Bombay village in Acquire subdivision of the Manu division, that's in the southwest region, are still sending an urgent call to the government of Cameroon to come to their rescue as they continue to go through difficulties in the hands of suspected armed headers from the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria. Recently, several women were raped and almost killed by these individuals who left enormous material damage in these parts of the southwest region. The people are sending their calls as recorded by Simat Njikan Gabriel.
Some women in Bombay village visit a home to console an old woman who was badly raped by suspected armed cattle herders from Nigeria. Before bumping on the woman, these suspected armed cattle herders had almost raped to death another woman. I was sleeping inside the house when a cattle herder broke into my room and forcefully had intercourse with me to the point that I almost died before he left me and went to my mother-in-law. Meanwhile, another lady was almost killed because her husband didn't provide what the armed cattle herders had requested. For that reason, she slept in the bush with her kids. Everyone in Bombay slept in the bush because of the armed cattle herders' invasion. My whole house has been scattered because they are looking for my husband, who denied buying them a goat, which they requested. The door to my house was shattered. Another native of Bombay village got herself injured in the course of a fight for her sister, who was forcefully taken away by these armed cattle herders. They asked a torchlight, and when I gave them, they took along my younger sister. As I struggled with them, I was given serious punches with a gun in their hands. It didn't only end there, as they also broke into many stores. It was thanks to the vigilante committee group present in the village that some of the women were rescued in the hands of the armed cattle herders. We tried our best to help some of our people, amongst them the wife of the quarterhead, but they kept shooting gun at us. Since the burning of several hectares of farmland in Bombay village, the natives have been having sleepless nights in the hands of the armed cattle herders from Nigeria.
And we stay in Cameroon on human interest to say that an alleged kidnapping in a Bolva in the south region of Cameroon has turned out to be a carefully staged plot, as 23-year-old Juliet Nanga, known as Lovenin, admits she faked her abduction after drawing inspiration for movies watched on Netflix. Authorities in that part of Cameroon say that the scheme, designed to extort 6 million francs CFA from family members with the help of accomplices, including suspected taxi drivers, failed, as investigations found out that Juliet and her so-called kidnappers were chilling in a locality in the south. Innocent as has the rest of the story in the following report.
23-year-old Juliette, alias Le Venin, meaning venom, is at the center of a shocking self-orchestrated kidnapping plot. Boldly recounting her actions, she admits drawing inspiration from movies.
I watch a lot of action films on Netflix. That is where I got the idea.
To make the kidnapping appear real, Juliette went to great lengths, providing her accomplices with all necessary props, including a blood-like substance she fabricated herself.
For the blood, I want to part in a movie set where I learned how to make fake blood.
Juliette and her accomplice, 18-year-old Astrite, who acted as cameraman, were tracked down and arrested by elements of the 1st Gendarmerie region in Bolva.
At one point, they were in Jap village and later in Bilong village. We were surprised to see Juliet relaxed and in good terms with her supposed kidnappers and even having fun.
The group had demanded a ransom of 6 million francs CFA. Juliette admits the fake kidnapping was financially motivated.
I was to give 2 million francs to my accomplice and use the remaining 4 million for my passport and visa, she said, revealing plans to travel abroad.
Further investigations uncovered a more troubling link. Two of the so-called kidnappers, Martin, 36, and Alain, 48, are suspected serial taxi aggressors in Yaoundé, a long-standing criminal phenomenon in the capital city.
Phénomène qui se vit toutes les semaines, toutes les nuits.
One of their victims recounts the ordeal.
At a roundabout, they asked me to get out and take another taxi. As I stepped out, I realized they had ripped my phone and purse off me.
Now in custody, Juliette and her accomplices are expected to appear before judges to answer for charges ranging from criminal conspiracy to fraud.
And we take you to this major story from Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon, where the auxiliary bishop of the Bamenda Archdiocese, Reverend Father John Berinu, has been officially ordained in a ceremony highly attended by members of the National Episcopal Conference of the Republic of Cameroon, Catholic dignitaries, officials of the Northwest Regional Administration, but also state officials with representatives of the presidents of the Republic of Cameroon. It happened, or it is happening, at the St. Joseph's Major Cathedral, that's at the Mancon neighborhoods of the city of Bamenda. We are having live reports from Bamenda with a team of correspondents, that is an official sent to the ground, Babila Jonathan and Amos Fongo, who are on standby in Bamenda. Good evening, Babila Jonathan. Welcome to the news. Tell us what's happening in Bamenda right now.
You're welcome to the Northwest Regional Capital, Bamenda, where the Most Reverend Father John Berinu Tata has been ordained as Auxiliary Bishop of Bamenda. Most Reverend Father John Berinu Tata has been handed over the staff of office and all the attributes that go along with his office. He was ordained by the Archbishop of Bamenda, who doubles as president of the National Episcopal Conference of the Republic of Cameroon, His Grace Andrew Kia, in the presence of the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea and several top government authorities, among them the Minister of Territorial Administration, personal representative of the President of the Republic, Paul Biya. The Auxiliary Bishop of Bamenda, Most Reverend Father Berinu John Tata, now takes office. He was appointed by Pope Leo XIV on February 13, 2026. He was also assigned titular Bishop of Cassia Negre, and before that, from March 2005 until 13 February 2026, he was a priest in the in the cathedral in the Catholic Diocese of Bamenda. Now he is taking over duty in an atmosphere of joy and celebration. As you can see, he now goes down to meet the people that he has been ordained to lead as shepherd. As we can see in those images, it is the mark of fellowship between the servant of God and the people under his leadership. The fellowship is marked by joy, celebration, happiness. He has taken over office, and now time for service, time to serve God, to serve the people put under his responsibility. Reporting from the St. Joseph's Cathedral in Bamenda, we are Amos Fongo, Babla Jonathan.
Thank you very much, Staffman Babla Jonathan and Amos Fongo in Bamenda in the Northwest region. Now we leave the city of Bamenda to the city of Douala to say that as the holy month of Ramadan concludes, the city of Douala comes back alive with a vibrant preparation and spirituality marked by joy with the Ramadan feast just here, while families in neighborhoods like New Bell in the Douala 2 municipality gather to celebrate through beautiful rituals and shared meals. Others face significant challenges, attributing it to the rising costs of living in the city of Douala, but also power outage in some of these neighborhoods. The period serves as both a time for festive reunion and also a powerful reminder of the Islamic values of faith, resilience, and charity. Law Manyekro is the lady on the story.
Miss Abubakar has just returned from the market. The content of her bags reveals a lot about the special menu planned for the Ramadan feast. Our menu of tomorrow is composed of several dishes. We have chicken, fish, natural juice, ndole, so many dishes for the celebration. At her home in the New Bell neighborhood in the 2nd district of Douala, preparations are full swing. The head of the family is happy that the fast has ended successfully. We thank God because in the beginning we could not stand, but by His grace we were able to make it despite the difficult time.
Malgré le peu de moyens qu'on a et malgré les frais.
This joyful atmosphere stands in stark contrast of that of our family.
Non, ça se passe très mal, vraiment.
It's not going on well because we don't have light here. We have so many things to grind, and even in the market there is no light. I don't have a ceremony gown because there is no light. For them, the celebration is struggling because of frequent power outage. The lack of electricity has had a severe impact on their holiday preparations.
Ici dedans, ce n'est que peut-être les jus que vous voyez. Je n'ai rien à l'intérieur.
As a reminder, Ramadan marks the end of the holy month of fasting, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. After this period of spiritual renewal, the Muslim community is encouraged to continue showing altruism and kindness towards each other.
And elsewhere across the city, like across the National Triangle, preparations are heightening as the Muslim community readies for the Feast of Ramadan. It is scheduled for tomorrow, Friday, March the 20th, 2026. Reporters visited some clothing workshops at the Anator neighborhood, still of the Douala 2 municipality, where customers were meant to struggling to get their orders ready. Our reporter, Malaglory, is the person on that beat.
Carrefour Anatole in the Douala 2 subdivision, the atmosphere is brimming with activities, with sounds from sewing machines and irons pressing clothes. Bari Abdul, a local tailor, is working tirelessly to transform vibrant pieces of clothes into elegant outfits required for the grand occasion. However, the festive rush has been hampered by frequent power outages, a situation Abdul says has placed immense pressure on his workshop.
La lumière nous dérange un peu pour les problèmes de rendez-vous.
Despite these technical hurdles, he and his team have remained resilient, managing the mounting workload to ensure their clients are dressed for the feast.
On travaille la nuit.
He says They are forced to work day and night in order to meet up with customers' demands. The strength of these delays is felt by customers on the ground. One mother who visited the shop this Thursday to collect her children's attire found the garments unfinished. With the celebration less than 24 hours away, she had little choice but to wait on site for the final stitches. Beyond the fashion, the spirit of Ramadan also highlights traditional beauty rituals. Muslim women are marking the occasion by adorning their hands and feet with intricate patterns, a practice generally known as henna or lali. The tradition has also found fans outside the faith. Angel, who is not a Muslim, sought out the paintings to express solidarity. I want to feel part of the community while celebrating with my Muslim friends, she explained. As the sun sets this evening, the artisans of Douala too continue their race against the clock, ensuring that the beauty of the feast is matched by the garments worn to celebrate it.
In news out of the Republic of Cameroon, at least 17 African migrants have drowned off the coast of Comoros, and in the Republic of Chad, a drone strike has killed at least 15 people in the border town of Tene, that's in the eastern Republic of Chad. The attack, initially attributed to the Sudanese paramilitaries, came amid rising tensions linked to the war in Sudan. Details with Siddiq Chakuchu.
At least 17 migrants from a group claiming to be Congolese nationals drowned after being dropped off near the coast of Comore. There are nearly 30 survivors. 4 others are missing. For more than 5 years, groups of migrants hoping to reach the French department of Mayotte have landed near the Comorian coast, but this is the first time bodies have been recovered. Elsewhere, on Wednesday evening, a drone launched from Sudan struck the town of Tine, killing at least 15 people, according to local and military sources. Since April 2023, Sudan has been embroiled in a war between the regular army and the Sudanese armed forces. This conflict is increasingly spilling over into Chadian territory, prompting Jamena to close its border at the end of February. President Mahamad Idris Deby convened a defense council overnight and ordered the Chadian army to immediately retaliate against any attack originating from Sudan. At the end of February, rocket fire from Sudanese territory had already struck Tine. Since the end of December, this violence has claimed dozens of lives in this border area. And in Europe, natural gas prices in Europe are soaring again following the intensification of Iranian attacks on energy infrastructures in the Gulf. The Dutch TTF futures contract, considered the European benchmark, jumped more than 25% to €67.9 per megawatt hour after rising as much as 35% earlier. Qatar Energy stated that several LNG facilities located in its Ras Laffan industrial zone had been targeted by missile fire, causing significant fires and considerable damage.
And that's all for the first part of news. Stay with us for Talking Points. And tonight on Talking Point, we're discussing the major story across Cameroon. Our guest is Barrister Valerie Barrebuem, who joins us live from his chambers in the city of Douala. Good evening, Barrister. Thanks for accepting to be part of Talking Points tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Armstrong. I'm grateful for this opportunity, or the opportunity you are granting me to edify our people.
Briefly, yesterday, after the landmark decision of the court in Yaoundé, now among Cameroonians in the neighborhoods, there have been this tense argument on just if the death sentence as declared on Dagobert Ouaffo yesterday means the same thing as life imprisonment in the Cameroonian context.
No, to be precise, if I was a legal Puritan, I would say that death sentence is different from life imprisonment. Death sentence is different from life imprisonment, and more particularly in our situation, in our social condition. You know, in our law, Section 276 of the Cameroon Criminal Code, it is clearly stated there that when you carry out assassination, the penalty that they can give to you or the condemnation that you can receive will be death sentence. The only ambiguity that we know in our system or the framework is that the President of the Republic must give his own authorization. That's where the problem lies. And that is why, since many people, because I want to tell you that many judges have been ruling, the case of, there are many cases like that where judges rule for death sentence. But why are the people not executed? Because the president has not given his decision on that, and that is based on Section 22 of our criminal code. That's why we have problems. Because, and somebody said, it seems as if there is a kind of interference of the executive in the judiciary. Because the man, how can you rule? You give a decision, but it is subject to the authorization of the head of state. Meaning that if the head of state says that this man will leave, the man will leave despite your ruling. But in other places, when the judicial have decided, they just have to follow the decision. Why? Because the judicial is working or acting on behalf of the people of Cameroon.
Clarification, barrister, it simply seems that Cameroonians are less familiar with it. You indicated that it's been a while that we've had that in Cameroon. Even at that, it is still part and parcel of the penal code in the country. How then is it enforced?
It was enforced. If you go back to some cases, like in 1987, here in Douala, there are two young men of about 20 years ago who did a lot of damages, cruelty to some families, and they were shot to death. About 20 soldiers shot them down, and that's how the story ended. But now, most of the time, as I said, when the head of state has not said anything, you can live for 30 years imprisonment and nothing will happen to you. But I want to tell you, if you go in our prisons, if you carry out some investigations, you will realize that there are people who prefer to die than to live in the conditions in which they live in our prisons. That's why I said that for me, as a legal man, as I was saying, I was not celebrating with joy the decision that was ruled yesterday. My own was to say that the law, at least for once in Cameroon, has been respected. And from there, people can have some kind of confidence again in their judicial system. In their judiciary system. That's what we are looking for, and that's what we are fighting. They say lawyers are watchdog of the society. If they don't watch over the law, how will the society have a fair society? That's the aim of that decision, yes, that court ruling yesterday.
Thank you again, barrister. You are a legal man of a different and unique standing. Now, this other interesting preoccupation that I've seen in most reactions, mainly on social media from Cameroonians, is the fact that Nwafo Dagobert, for example, was asked to pay the total sum of 500 million francs CFA, even though he has been condemned to death. How is it possible that he pays this money, or who pays it on his behalf?
Thank you very much for your question. That is a small technical question. Why will I say it's a bit technical? There are ways to constrain somebody to pay those damages. Yeah, paying the damages is not always a problem. There are ways, and the law has stated clearly how the damages can be paid. Why? Because it becomes a debt that you are owing. But since the case is not yet closed, because we don't know whether they will exercise they will exercise appeal or not. We cannot give you at this level how is he going to pay, but I want to tell you that it was not ironically that they pronounced that damages to be paid. No, I don't think so. They really know what they meant. And for those who are in court, damages cannot repair the pain of the clients, but at least at times it comes like to comfort them a little bit. Yes, because when you lost a child of 6 years old, you have stopped the future. You have affected even the future of your nation. And you know, children are the future of our nation. So when they are killed, it seems as if we are destroying the nation. And that's why they want to sentence you to try to repair what the nation has lost. That's a little bit what they wanted to do.
But I was actually going to ask about this. Is it possible for Dagobert Nwafo or his legal team to seek for an appeal in this case?
In situations like this, it's a bit difficult to pronounce myself. Why? Because, you know, I'm not in the mind of those who are going to hold the case. Up to now, we don't know whether they will really appeal. They have the right, but we don't know. But as for now, I think that what has been done is a kind of relief to the family. The core issue here is not about us, the lawyers. It's not about the judges. It's about the society. It's about the bereaved family. It's about the pain that the people have been suffering from since that famous 10th of May 2025. That's where all the problem lies. So, court is there, and I think that's the point of view that wisdom demands that at a given moment we just step down, be calm, and watch.
Cameroonians in their majority seem to be unanimous on this very important decision. It's been on the major news stories since yesterday throughout today. Now, I want to get this from you. What's the significance and the implications of this landmark judgment on the Cameroonian society?
The truth is that every court ruling had a goal. And at times, when the ruling comes out like this one, where people think that it was so hot, it was so heavy, the goal was to dissuade others from doing the same thing. It was to tell others that stop it, don't do it. People are dying, it's not good. You see, if you commit death penalty, if you kill somebody, you also end up like this man, so don't do it. That's the goal behind it, is to stop them, is to stop others from thinking of doing like that. Because if this man is not punished, tomorrow some people will say, this other man did that man did that, that man did that, and he was not punished, so I'm free to do it also. And some people will tell me, there is a country, I don't want to cite it, the fact that they're still applying death sentences there, has they stopped death sentences? I will reply like a great lady in that same nation who said, the day you people remove the Bible from schools, gun enter schools. So the day we refuse to apply the law, other things will come in. That's it.
Apart from the fact that the law as of now says, okay, in an assassination case as that of Bebe Matisse, you are going to be sentenced to death too, with what Dagobert had. What are other criminal cases in Cameroon, offenses that can also lead somebody to be given a death sentence?
Read the law on terrorism promulgated 2011, I think. Yeah, you will understand that there are situations whereby people could be killed or people could be sentenced like that in death penalties. If you attempt, for instance, to kill the head of state, why will the penalty will be so severe? Yeah.
Thank you immensely, Barrister, for your time. That was a legal mind a rigor man of different standing, and of course well-respectable barrister Valerie Baripwem, who accepted to share his knowledge with us on talking points. We are having him live from his chambers in the city of Douala. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you immensely. Great thanks to our technical team. And of course, we urge you to stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe. Our next edition of news will be in the French language. That will be at 8 p.m. As for me, Rendezvous is taken for tomorrow, Friday, at same time, on same platform. Meantime, for their Muslim brothers, happy feast of Ramadan.